Hey, everybody, welcome to the Soccer Sharps, a soccer betting podcast. Jordan, we return for domestic league action. We've got best bets from the EPL, from the Serie, from Ligue, and from the Bundesliga. All the hits coming to you guys. Stick around.
Martial, Herrera, Ibrahimovic! Oh my God, an insane goal! I've just seen the most insane goal I have ever seen on a football pitch! Balotelli, Aguero! Martial, Herrera!
Thank you, everyone, for joining us live and later on podcast apps. So we appreciate it. We're here for the domestic league action. Jordan, we just finished up an excellent Champions League week in terms of watching it. Our bets, we were 5-1 heading into today, and then it got a lot worse than that. But it doesn't really matter, Jordan, because it was entertaining, and that's what we're here to do. Is we're here to entertain. So we're not going to spend a lot of time talking about that. That'll be on the next Champions League show when we break down those games. But I hope you guys were watching because it was a lot of fun. But Jordan, how you doing after that whirlwind 3 days of European football?
Yeah, Dev, it was a lot of fun in theory. If you like just watching the game of soccer, it was a hell of a lot of fun. If you bet on it and you place the bets that I made, not as fun. You said it, Dev. Didn't do so well, but listen, you did. Maybe we pull up the graphics here and I'll walk us through this. Here's how we did. Dev with a winning show, 4 wins, 2 losses, plus 0.67 units. Now, you might think he'd have a bigger return there. That was because he lost the 2-unit banger. I also lost the 2-unit banger, but hey, that's no surprise because I lost pretty much everything as I went 1-4 for minus 3.75 units, bringing us to a combined minus 3.08. Dev, I got to apologize, man. You had a winning card, and I just fucked it.
Look, man, it's gambling. This is what happens. And look, I feel very confident about the Champions League going forward. I'm excited about this new format, and I think our next show is going to be Flames. So we will get to that when we get to that show, which I want to say is like the first week of October is the next Champions League week. But yeah, Jordan, I mean, look, you talk about missing a 2-unit play, but we're not going to talk about the losses, all right? Because we got a fresh slate of soccer and something exciting for the two of us. Jordan, I'm going to be with you. I'm going to be with you
That's
back
right,
in
Dave.
Arizona, bright and shiny Arizona, where we'll be watching some of these matches and licking our wounds and placing all kinds of bets. And I will say, although, George, you pointed out, we lost probably combined 3 units on the Champions League. The people in our Discord did not. They cleaned up in the Discord. So this is a good time to tell you guys, jump in that Discord, follow us, like, subscribe, because you don't have to take the plays that we give out. You can take our analysis and create your own plays, which is what they do in the Discord. They often wait until lineups come out, which is an advantage that we don't have here because we have to make these picks before we dive into all that. And then they're cleaning up. I mean, some of these guys were saying this is the best week of betting they've ever had. So jump in there. You can jump on some different plays, craft some parlays with some of the guys. It's a lot of fun. But George,
go ahead. Dev, we got a lot of sharp listeners to this podcast. If nothing else, maybe we're not doing so well. We bring in an esteemed clientele. So, maybe sometimes they're just fading us outright and making money hand over fist, at least fading my plays in the last round. Let's see if we can't turn it around here. What do we got on the screen here, Dev? You got Maddie D1111. UCL was insane this week. Discord did go crazy. Yep. If you're new to the show, get in that Discord. It's free. You don't have to have a pay to get in or anything weird like that. Just jump in, talk soccer. It's unreal.
Yeah, it's good times, George. But we spent enough time on the recap here. We're ready to dive into a whole new weekend. And let's take a look at an absolute banger. Championship 6-pointer, if you will. It's Arsenal hosting Manchester City. This one kicking off on Sunday, but we wanted to start with it because feel like we know the rivalry that these two teams have had over the past few seasons, with Manchester City winning titles. Obviously not last year, it was Liverpool, but the year before that, and Arsenal finishing second in so many years in a row. And is this the year that they can turn things around? Well, the bookies think this is going to be a test for them. They've got them favored by a half a goal at home. Total is set at 2.75. George, both these teams playing in that Champions League, taking care of business, though Manchester City wasn't really tested. Early red card for a Dogzo foul, denial of goal scoring opportunity against Napoli. Lost their captain pretty early in that match, and then it was just target practice for Man City. Arsenal, on the other hand, just doing what they do. 2-0. Wonderful victory for them on the road in Bilbao. And now these two meet on Sunday. Jordan, what do you think about this matchup?
Yeah, Dev. The other thing about, because we're talking about Manchester City here, the other disappointing thing about that red card for Napoli was that Kevin De Bruyne was the make weight, right? He was the one who got subbed out after that. So his return to the Etihad was pretty muted. Disappointing stuff there. Look, talking about their Champions League results, Arsenal come into this with a pretty big rest advantage, right? They got to play on Tuesday night, whereas Man City just played tonight, and they're at home here. So maybe that's baked into the line. And maybe it's also because Arsenal have looked pretty consistent, whereas Man City a little bit up and down. Look, this was the match that made the thumbnail for our show here. I had Haaland versus Gabriel and their rivalry in the thumbnail. And that's where this thing starts for me, Dev. Haaland, right back in the form of his life. He scores in every match, sometimes pretty much a brace in every match. And at the other end of this, Gabriel and Mosquera, who's come in to fill in for Saliba, who may be back for this match. But either way, it doesn't matter because this Mosquera is doing work just as well. They're keeping clean sheets. So it's a rock and a hard place here, Dev. So it's a toss-up for me. And because of that, I got to look at the market. I got to look at the lines. I got to look at the value. And I see I'm getting two outcomes on Manchester City. Whatever you think of them, whatever people are saying about their demise and they're falling off and they're not organized, new players taking time to gel. I don't care, man. You're giving me two outcomes here in a match that's likely to draw, given the way that we've seen Arsenal set up for these matches. Typically, in these big matches, they set up not to lose, although that does happen more often on the road. So maybe they go for it a little more here. I was hoping they'd go for it a little more against Liverpool earlier in the season, but that, again, was on the road. So not quite sure what we get here. And because of that, as I say, I'm just going to go with the numbers here. I'm getting two outcomes on a Manchester City team that I still believe in largely. I took them to win the title as a future. It's not looking great at the moment, but there's still every chance. And so, yeah, you're giving me the draw and Manchester City win. I have to take that. I do like the outright draw there as well, plus 280. I could see that. But yeah, that's where my thinking went with this, Dev. I like the two outcomes, half a goal with Manchester City. That's going to be my play.
Yeah, and Jordan, I'm on the same thing. It's too much value to give up. Arsenal, I've said it before in the show, I'll say it again. I think they win the Premier League this year, and this may be the one. This may be a massive 3 points, but I think there's every chance they draw it. Manchester City, both of these teams have made some pretty high-profile additions, right? Victor Gyökeres, Eberiki Eze, Noni Madueke, that new look front three for Arsenal. Pretty fascinating. The midfield in this will be a matchup of countrymen. Zubamendi, Rodri's back into form. Mikel Merino likely starting sort of in that midfield to attacking position there. But boy, another way I look at this is maybe goals, Jord. And it's not something you'd think. It's hard because there's so much talent. There's so much goal-scoring talent out there. And you could see this hit 3 goals pretty easily. But with the stakes, knowing that these two teams will probably be in a title race at the end of the season, it makes you think that it may go under because of that. So stay away from the total, I would say. Arsenal on the season through 4 matches, 3-1 against the spread. City 2-2, but a couple of those were just late meltdowns, and that may happen again. But if you're getting the 2 outcomes, it's more likely that they are ahead and then concede to give up a draw there and only get 1 point than that they go and outright lose it, even though it's on the road. And you mentioned Erling Haaland. Oh, and I wanted to bring this up too. So we brought up the red card from Napoli against Manchester City. Well, why did that red card happen? Because Donnarumma is an incredible goalkeeper. Like, I don't think we understand. Everyone was like, what? This is such not a Man City signing. This guy can't play with his feet. Isn't that Pep's whole thing? He wants the keeper to play with his feet. Sure, but he's one of the best ball stoppers in the world. I mean, PSG doesn't win the Champions League if he's not on their team, and now he's on Manchester City. He already bailed them out of a couple, at least one really good save in the Napoli game before it went down to 10 men. And then he'll just boot it long. He doesn't want to play with his feet. Just boot it long, route one football right up to the biggest, best striker in the best form in the world right now. Erling Haaland is the best player in the world right now. Lamine Yamal's hurt, but he is that good. All he needs is half a chance, and he's gonna score. And he's so physically overpowering. And now all of a sudden they've got this route one option. If Arsenal is gonna really press them like they want to do, I think we could just see some direct balls to Haaland. Now Arsenal probably have the best defense in the Premier League, so we'll see how these guys tussle it out. It should be an interesting matchup. I don't know if it's going to be the most entertaining. I think it would be pretty slow-paced. But I've talked too much, Jord. Look, we said it. You're getting 2 outcomes. It's a draw or a Man City win. I think there's really good value on that. At -108, I'm willing to take it.
Well, yeah, just remember, the lines speak to us, right? They're speaking a language. And we talked about this the last time Man City played in the Premier League against Man U. The line was pretty short. And then money came in on Man U, like on day of, and we had Man City at home at like -130 it went off at. I'm like, you have to take this. It's Man City at home at a playable price on the money line. Just take it. I don't care that they've lost twice in a row. And they wanted a cancer. So the lines are speaking to you. Look for value regardless. Like, just remove the names on the logos here. Look at the value. And yeah, Dev, you talked about the new look Arsenal front three. Ironic, though, that in the Champions League in the midweek, it was the old guard that had to come in and save the day. Martinelli and Trossard getting the goals there. So kind of ironic, kind of funny.
Yeah, good point.
But yeah, Dev, I think you said it. I think this will be relatively low scoring, but because of that, we love the half a goal with City even more.
Yeah, I'm undecided on the total. I can't pick it either way. Bob DeVita in the chat says this stinks of a 1-0 Arsenal. Yeah, I mean, look, they know how to keep clean sheets. They know how to defend. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but we're hoping it's at least a 1-1, right, Bob? So we can cash our bets here. Caldi in Kaidi? I don't know. In the chat says Odegaard starts over Marino if he's fit. I think Madueke is going to cook whoever City has at left back. Yeah, Madueke's in fine form, but so is Jeremy Doku on City's left side. I would hate to defend against that man. Either way, it should be a fascinating matchup, Jordan. But let's move on to another great matchup on Sunday. It's Manchester United against Chelsea. This one's lined as a pick. Total set at a flat 3. Chelsea losing to Bayern Munich on the road in the midweek. It looked like they just ran out of gas at the end of that thing. Manchester United with a little bit of a week to rest and maybe take some of the headlines off of them so the sky's not always falling in Manchester. And now they get to host this Chelsea side, world champion Chelsea. What do you think about this matchup, Jordan?
Oh, Dev, you've fallen into the world champions title for Chelsea. I haven't subscribed to that one yet, but I guess technically
it's facts, right? I mean, they got the trophy. They got the patch on their stupid logo on their jersey.
This one actually on Saturday, Dev. It's one of the late games on Saturday, standalone time slot. Look, I think this one could be a cracker. As you said, the sky's always falling with Man U, Amorim on the hot seat, all the quotes coming out in the press. But look, they've had the week off here. And Chelsea just had a rough day at the office traveling to Munich. And I think that could play into Man U's hands here. Not that they necessarily need it in this matchup, because this is a fixture, Dev, that Man U tend to do quite well in. For all of their faults, for all of the teams they do struggle with, they actually have quite a good record against Chelsea, especially at Old Trafford.
Yeah, I believe I saw that Chelsea have not won at Old Trafford since 2013.
Is that right? Is it that long?
That's what I read. So
yeah. Let me just look at that. I don't even think I can go back that far on the app I'm currently at. But yeah, Dev, unbeaten for a while. Anywho, that's not great podcasting. Let me tell you, Dev, this Man U team, I think things are a little harsh. Like, the narratives are a little bit harsh on this team. I don't think they've looked that bad, honestly. Obviously, that Grimsby loss in the cup was hilarious and embarrassing for them. But you remove that, it hasn't been that bad. I think they were hard done by to lose to Arsenal on the opening day. I thought they were the better side for long periods of that match. Okay, they didn't look great against Burnley, but they got the win in the end. And what do we say about Liverpool when they get the win? Oh, they find a way to win. Well, all right, man, you found a way to win. So it just hasn't looked that bad to me. And I think it's a little bit harsh. Man City trucked him in the derby. Okay, Man City are good. Haaland's in the form of his life. I don't take much away from that either. I think they'll be competitive in this match, Dev. I think there's going to be a little bit of a fire lit underneath them. And I think at home here, they're going to come out strong against a Chelsea team who, as I mentioned, just played in the midweek and had a rough time of it. Because of that, Dev, to be honest, if I was just playing the three-way money line here, I'd probably go draw. I'm not just so bullish on Man U that I think they win this outright. Draw is a real runner here. I can see a 1-1. But I wasn't sure what to do with the total, because I could see it kind of entering into chaos ball depending on how early the first goal goes in and who scores it. So I want to take that historical record and what I'm vibing with Manchester United here and take them on the double chance, which is obviously unplayable because their line is a pick here. And I'm going to have to tack something onto that. I'm going to tack on the over 1.5 goals. Now, I don't like tacking on over 1.5 goals to a money line. I don't know if I've talked about that much on this show, but I think that's a false sense of security. If you're going to play money line and over 1.5, you're really only doing that to bring in one score line, the 2-0. That's the only score line, playing that versus playing money line and over 2.5 or money line and win to 0 will get you, right? Any score line that money line and over 1.5 gets you, other than the 2-0, money line and over 2.5 gets you. So just a little piece of betting advice there from your guy in the world of soccer. But when it comes to double chance, bringing in the over 1.5 is a whole different ballgame, because you're bringing in that 1-1, right? You cash on the 1-1 and anything beyond, as long as they don't lose the game. So that's where I'm going with this one, Dev. Man U, double chance and over 1.5 goals. That's coming in at -125.
That's nice, Jordan. That's good. That's good. I mean, I think when I told you that Chelsea haven't won at Old Trafford since 2013, that was an eye opener. Manchester United 0-4 against the spread in league games this season. Only win was against a newly promoted Burnley. That's not really inspiring much for me in their head-to-heads here. I thought this was interesting. In the past 10 head-to-heads, so that's obviously at Old Trafford as well, we have 2 wins for each team and 6 draws. You mentioned you think that's a runner, the draw there, so that stood out to me. This does feel trappy. I think Chelsea's the better team. I think Chelsea will be top 4 this year. I don't think Man United's going to get there, obviously, based on their start. I'll be surprised if Amorim makes it till Christmas if they keep out on this right. But if they come out here and they win this game, it's almost going to be like, oh, well, they're fine. Amorim's good. Look, he told you he trusted his system. But that's what scares me, is he's such a system-based guy. He's like, I'm playing my way. I will not change it. And so doesn't that mean that the opposing managers know what's coming here? It's like Maresca's a really smart guy. He knows how they're going to play, even though they're coming back from this drubbing in Munich. Really tough opening road match there for the Champions League. So there's just too much going on here. It does feel like a United more rested. They come out, they can at home can do something against a banged up Chelsea. So I'm not going to mess with the side or total here, Jord. I'm going to rip off one of our Discord listeners, Mr. Bob DeVita.
Whoa.
I'm throwing him up in the chat here. He says, I'm going back to the well. It's Cucurella. One
Disgusting.
shot at plus 130. One of the most hateable players in all of world football, unless you're a Spaniard or a Chelsea fan. Just absolutely, you can tell the other opposing players hate him. The guy draws more yellow cards than anyone else. Clearly such an irritant. But just to have a shot in the game, plus 130. He's done it in, I sent you this, it was 3 of their 5 competitive matches for club. So he didn't do it for Spain in those games, but for Chelsea, he's done it in 3 of their 5 matches, getting that shot. He's got an assist. He's got a few shots on target, but I'm not going to mess with the on target, just to get in there, arrive late into the box, blast one over the goal. That's all I'm hoping for Mr. Cucurella. So plus 130 feels like a pretty good price on a player prop, and a match that I want to have something on, but I'm a little bit hesitant on the side and total.
Yeah, fair enough. You're hesitant on the side and total, but you're totally comfortable backing one of the most disgusting players in the league. And he faces off against another one of the most disgusting players in the league. On the other side, Bruno Fernandes. 2 of the most absolutely pesty players in the league. Dev, just wanted to mention one thing. You talked about Man U not looking great against the spread. Tough schedule, right? They've played 4 games. They played Arsenal on opening day. They played Man City in the derby. So I'm not willing to write it off yet. And I am bringing in a half a goal on the spread there, or I guess a quarter of
it's
a goal.
The hand ring. It's the hand ring, George. We know the hand ring.
Giving myself a stronger spread than what it's lined at. So we
better, more goal score lines on your side. And right. George, so we've talked about this one enough. Let's move on.
Although I just have to say, you got your support for Cucurella there from Bob DeVita in the chat. I got Matty D111 again in the chat here saying this is one of the weirdest lines of the weekend. Makes me lean United with you. Hey, I'll take any leaning with me, Matty. Bring it.
Hell yeah. Well, let's move on. We got more Premier League action, and it is the Merseyside derby. It's Liverpool against Everton. This one taking place at Anfield. Liverpool, you said it, I believe it was last week on the show, Jordan. Maybe it was the Champions League show where you were saying you feel like the meme of Jesse from Breaking Bad saying they can't keep getting away with this. But another late stoppage time winner for Liverpool against Atletico Madrid in a phenomenal match. That was incredible to watch. So they got away with it again, Jordan. This one, they're big favorites. They're a goal and a quarter favorites at home, and the total is set at a flat 3, which is seems a little high for me for a Merseyside derby. And this Everton side has been pretty good of late. What do you think about this matchup, Jordan?
Yeah, Dev. The Champions League getting away with it wasn't quite as bad, though, because they definitely deserved to win that game. They dominated Atleti. It actually would have been pretty unjust had they lost that match or even drawn that match. But in general, yes, he can't keep getting away with it, this Arne Slot. I still don't see what he's doing here. It's just like guys like a 2-time lotto winner just chilling here looking at these players at his disposal. Just you guys figure it out. I'm here and I'm going to reap the rewards. I don't know why I'm doing this, Dev. I talked about on the last show. I've lost every bet on a Liverpool match I've had this season, and yet here I have it on the card. Not only that, I'm double dipping in this match.
Wow.
I don't know what I'm doing here, Dev. Maybe I'm just shook from betting the Champions League and spending time making picks, and just they all just lost. And so now I'm like, whatever, man, I'm just taking what I want. I don't know, but look, I'm a David Moyes disciple. I will follow the ferryman David Moyes wherever he goes. And when he goes to Anfield, he does not do well, Dev. He's never won at Anfield, which is pretty damning for a guy who's coached as many Premier League games as he has. He's the third most matches coached in the Premier League behind Sir Alex and Arsene Wenger. Pretty good company to be in, but he's never won at Anfield. He's gotten some draws though, Dev, and he's getting a goal and a quarter on the handicap here. So he doesn't even need to win this game if I take that handicap. So that's kind of where I'm looking at this. Liverpool played in the midweek. Everton prepping all week for this one. It's the Merseyside derby. It's always feisty, regardless of who the managers are. Obviously, you'd prefer this to be at Everton, but, then you wouldn't be getting the goal and a quarter here. So that's the first place I'm going with this. I'm just taking that. I think the blueprint was laid pretty well by Burnley last weekend, where they literally played a back five and then four in front and just parked the bus and made no bones about this is what we're doing. Moyes is not afraid to do that on the road. I can tell you, West Ham used to travel to Anfield under Moyes, and we do the same thing. Difference is, I think Everton have better quality in transition than Burnley do. Burnley have some pacey guys that can get stuff going on the transition, but they don't have Grealish and Njai. Those guys can actually create chances, and I think they will against this Liverpool team, Deb. So getting that goal in the quarter, I think, is a little too much given the situation. I'm going to take that as my first play. And the other one you mentioned, that the total a little bit too high considering this is a derby. It's the sleepy early kickoff on Saturday, which we always say is a wonky game and tends to go under. But I'm going to split it in half, Dev. I'm going to cut this game in half, and I'm going to take first half under 1.25. I thought it might be lined at under 1, Dev. Happy to get the quarter there, get that little hook. Going to take first half under 1.25 on the Asian handicap. That's my second play of this. So basically I'm banking on Everton keeping this tight for a while and maybe keeping it tight the whole way. Hopefully, if they score a goal in the second half, I think I'm sitting pretty.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, look, they've created a lot more, this Everton side. You take a look at their expected goals throughout the season here. They are currently fifth, far ahead of Liverpool. They are only behind Chelsea, Man City, Arsenal, and Manchester United, Jordan. Your Manchester United, one of the top XG teams in the Prem. Yeah, Jordan, I passed on this. This is too weird. Okay,
Sleepy
you got
kickoff.
Liverpool. Sleepy kickoff. I'm sleeping. It's 4:30 here on the West Coast. No chance I'm getting up for this. And then Liverpool coming off that crazy game in the midweek, the Merseyside derby of it all. Moyes can't win it at Anfield. I'm terrified. I don't want any part of this. I will say I think the Everton goal and a quarter is far too much to be given a team here. You take a look at head-to-heads between these two teams in their last 10 matches, 5 won by Liverpool, 3 draws, 2 Everton wins. So you've got 5 and 5 in terms of the 3 outcomes there. So you're definitely getting a lot of value here. Also getting the loss by 1 goal and half cashing on that. You mentioned it's a baby hook. What do we call it? We got to come up with a name because it's not the full hook. Half a goal is a hook, right? Or a 0.5.
You just said it, didn't you? The baby hook?
The baby hook? Yeah, a goal and a baby hook.
Baby hook.
And yeah, maybe you can cash on that baby hook. It's not bad.
Yeah,
let's take a look in the chat here. Matty D says, as an Evertonian, this makes me nervous, but we ride. Everton only won last in 13 matches with Darren England reffing. Okay.
Oh, love it.
Deep research. See, this is the kind of shit we want people to bring, so we don't have to do as much work. 1 loss in 13 matches with Darren England reffing, and he's gonna have his hands full because it's gonna be a bloodbath out there. I'll tell you that much.
And Jordan, an Evertonian. Love to see it. Come on, you Toffees. Up the Toffees. Let's go.
Let's go. We got one more EPL matchup for you guys before we dip into the rest of the continent. And this is a great time to tell you, if you're watching this live, throw us a like. Just throw a like on the YouTube video or X or Twitch, wherever you're watching this. It helps us out a lot, costs you nothing, and gives you some good karma for your bets. So we appreciate that, and thank you all who are watching this live and listening later. But we've got one more EPL match, Jordan. It's Wolverhampton against Leeds United. This one's lined as a pick. Total is set at 2.25. And there's no chance I'm playing anything on this match, George. So this is you, and you're going to have to tell me why.
Yeah, how did the guy who went 1-4 get this on the card? Who allowed that to happen? Look, Dev.
Relegation 6-pointer here. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and exactly right, Dev. Look, Wolves, they're back in Pereira. He got a contract extension today. I was kind of
Pereira era.
Yeah, I was happy to see it. I was like, look, they're sticking with him despite the results not being great. They did survive in the EFL Cup, of course, because they played my West Ham United, which is a layup for anyone. Look, this one, Dev, it just comes down to vibes for me. I think both of these teams need points, as we've talked about. And
1-4 in the midweek. We're riding vibes, baby.
We're riding vibes. Look, both of these teams need points. When they play each other historically, it's always entertaining. We get goals everywhere. Wolves concede in every match. That tells me Leeds are getting on the score sheet for sure. And then, can Wolves get a goal at home? I think they can. Certainly much more likely than -106 for both teams to score, yes, suggests. That's what I'm going with, Deb. There's no parlay here. There's no tacking stuff on. There's no hand-wringing. Give me both teams to score. I know it hasn't been very popular in the EPL to start the season so far. We've seen a lot of BTTS no, especially in this timeline, the Saturday morning kickoffs morning for us. But yeah, I'm just riding the vibes, the situation. I think these teams need points. I think they go for it. And I think we get a pretty entertaining match here. Both teams to score, yes, at -106 is too big for me. I think it should be shorter, and I'm going to take that price.
It's a good way to attack it, Jordan. I don't mind that. We've seen both teams score 4 of the last 5 between them. Leeds under 2.5 and 7 their last 8. It's a little bit scary. Yep. Can Wolves get on the board? I don't know. We haven't seen a lot of offense out of them, or attack, we'll say. So, look, it's a stay away from me, Jordan. I wish you luck. Let's get both teams on the board here, 1-1, and then let's have a fun match, because these two teams are going to be at the bottom of the table, or in and around the bottom of the table at the end of the season. So this could go a long way. Well, Jordan, that's enough for the Premier League. We're moving on over to Serie A. It's a derby del capitale. It's Lazio against Roma. Down in the capital. This should be phenomenal, Jordan. And, much like the sleepy AM kickoff for the Prem, I found out, my English friend told me this, that the reason they have those kickoffs super early is for the really big rivalry games. So Merseyside derby, they don't want people to die. They don't want people getting so liquored up all day, and then they go to the ground and they fight each other because they're from the same city but have different colored shirts on. So they start the matches really early and think, well, they'll drink in misery afterwards. And it's the same here in the Derby della Capitale. This one's kicking off at 3:30 a.m. our time, so that's an even sleepier 11:30 local time a.m. kickoff. Super early so they can get this thing over with and let the tourists wander around Rome. But, Jordan, it's on a knife's edge. It's a pick here, and the total is set at 2.25. It's low total. Points, goals will be at a premium. Yellow cards, red cards everywhere if you got those markets. But, Jordan, what do you think about this matchup?
Well, I think, you said it. It's on too early for me to think much about this match, Dev. It's not happening.
4:30 was fine for you?
I mean, I won't be up for that one either, truth be told.
Yeah.
But look, you said that this one should be fun, entertaining. I disagree. I think this is going to be a slog and ugly, like the Derby della Capitale often is. I said on our first show of the season, I was really excited for the Gasperini era at Roma. I thought they were going to start to look like Gasperini's Atalanta sooner than later. Looks like now it's going to be later than sooner, because boy, have they been a slog to start the season.
Hell yeah.
Not what I was expecting. I think you could probably play under 2.25 in this where it's lined and be okay. Both teams to score, no. But I don't want to mess with that. I need to see more out of these teams before I invest in their derby. So I'll pass it back to you here, Deb, in the interest of time, because I know you're playing this.
Yeah, Jordan, I'm taking Rome. I'm taking Roma as a pick here because there's every chance this thing's a draw. I think the draw is a runner. I wouldn't mess with the both teams to score because this 1-1 is like probably the most likely scoreline in this. Yeah, I still continue to think Rome is the better team. I know they've had some growing pains. I think they have more talent.
Yeah, that's fair.
Lazio, super frisky. They are the home team, though they play in the same stadium. So I don't put too much into that. It's probably a draw, but I'm happy to take a team to maybe win it, push out on the draw. So I'm good with that. Rome is a pick here, minus 118. Look, they're like neck and neck in the table in terms of like expected goals and expected goals allowed and all the statistics. They're like right in line. Only 3 matches played in the Serie, so still a lot of time there. And neither of these teams playing in the Champions League, so they had all week to rest and look forward to this absolute bloodbath that will probably, it'll be like a South American kind of match. I feel like it's just going to be crunching tackles, not a lot going on, maybe some moments of brilliance to get goals. So yeah, I just wanted to have something on this because it's the Derby de Capital. Bob Devin in the chat says there will be 3 or 4 cards in this game. Props are like plus 100 on most players. I assume that's to get a yellow card. I'm pretty sure you're going to have to play 4.5 cards total if you're going to look at a cards total line there. But if you have individual players, just anyone in the midfield or defense, just throw them in there.
I want to say, Dev, you were saying you think it's likely to be a draw, but you're taking the pick, so it's likely you get a push. Another way to attack this, if people agree, you could do the Roma double chance and go under 2.5 goals and get plus 110. You could go under 3.5 goals and get minus 143. So different ways to attack it if you want to bring in the draw, but you never know. Maybe it erupts into fireworks like Juventus and Inter did in the Derby d'Italia.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing it's not though. It's too early of a kickoff.
Yeah.
Total set of 2.25.
Look at that double chance and under if you like Roma.
Yeah. There you go. Well, Jordan, let's move on. We have 2 more plays for you guys, and we're moving next over to France in Ligue 1, where it's Olympique de Marseille against Paris Saint-Germain. This one sees Marseille as home dogs of a half a goal, and the total is set at a flat 3. Jordan, more Champions League clubs, these two facing off, the top 2 in Ligue 1 last season. Marseille putting up some resistance against Real Madrid. They were able to cover my spread bet there, and they lost 2-1 and covered the both teams scoring over for that one, so that was nice. And Paris destroyed in their match against, it doesn't even matter because they steamrolled them. So what do you think about this matchup, Jordan, with Paris against Marseille?
Yeah, nice double cash for you there, Devin. The Marseille-Madrid game, love to see it. I could see this being pretty similar, actually. I could see a 2-1 PSG. I mean, look, this is on paper the toughest match PSG will play in Liga across their season. Marseille away. It's generally the toughest match that they have to play. So they come into this. If they win this match, then most likely they're going to win the league, as they so often do. And I think they do win this match, Dev. I was kind of tickled to see the price we're getting, to be honest. Minus 112, just play it on the money line. But I'm not going to do just that, Dev. I'm going to tack on both teams to score, because both teams to score, yes, minus 200. The market's telling me that Marseille gets on the score sheet here, and I know PSG have been stingy lately. They do not concede very much, but I think in a match that should be as high octane as this one on the road at Marseille, I think Marseille can get on the score sheet. Marseille, not the best travelers, but despite that, they were able to get on the score sheet against Real Madrid. So if they can do that on the road, I think here at home in what's arguably their biggest match of the season in the league, I think they can get something from this one. So I'm going to take a bold shot here, Dev, because I think the price is too big. PSG to win the match and both teams to score, yes, is coming in at plus 220.
Let's go.
That's just too big, and I have to take it.
You don't have to take anything, Jordan, but I do think it's wise. I'm going with the money line on PSG. I'm shocked this isn't favored by 3/4. I don't really understand it. I guess because it's such a big match in France. Look, I watched all of that Marseille at Real Madrid match because I had 2 bets going on it, on total and side. So I was locked into that motherfucker. And let me tell you, this team is very disorganized, but rigid. They're always going to play out of the back. It's the De Zerbi way. Their manager, no matter, and they don't give a shit what's happening, how much better, more technically skilled the players are on the other side are, they're going to play out of the back. And it led to a lot of problems against Real Madrid. They were lucky to get away with only giving up 2 goals. Then you had a red card later because idiot Carvajal headbutted a guy, and he got sent off. And then they still had opportunities to score more. And
another gross Spain fullback, Carvajal. Just, God, there's so many disgusting Spanish fullbacks. What is with it?
It's kind of comes with the territory of the position, right? It's like you got to defend, and you're probably the most tired, running up and down constantly, so you're more likely to do asshole-ish things because you're tired.
The PSG fullbacks are lovely. Love those guys.
That's true. Really, just seem like great guys.
It's just the Spaniards. It's the Spaniards.
But look, we know what PSG's press is like. It's their whole team, right? It's their whole identity. It's an absolutely terrifying press. Yes, Dembele's out. Yes, Doué is out. They've got other guys who can step in, and they know how to play this system. De Zerbi's not changing his stripes. They're going to play out of the back. They're going to be turned over high. PSG is going to score a few goals in this. You look at that team total. You're going to have to play it over 2.5 to get really good value. I found over 1.5 at -150 on one book. I'm playing it there. I think, I'll take a half a unit back because I'm pretty sure they're going to score twice here, Jord. Marseille was just way too open, way too careless with the ball, and disorganized. They have like 20 new players, so they're bringing in a whole platoon of new guys trying to get them used to De Zerbi's system. So I think this could be a bit of a boat race for PSG. Look at your ladder plays. I'm surprised you're only getting -112. It actually makes me a little bit nervous. It's like, do the bookies know something here that this isn't 3/4 of a goal? But I'm going to play him, Jordan. I'm taking that Paris on the money line. And then I forget what I told you. Do we put in the team total at -150? We did that. Okay, great. Yeah. So I'm double dipping.
And I think it correlates because if they score twice, I think they probably do win the game. I think that's probably all they need, especially if you play it on certain books where if they go up 2-0, no matter what happens, you're cashing both plays. So, Dev, like it.
Hell yeah. Well, let's get that 2-1, Jordan. We can have all 3 of our plays cash in this one. We got one more matchup for you guys, and it's in the Bundesliga. We're taking a look at Bayer Leverkusen against Borussia Monchengladbach. This one sees Leverkusen as full goal home favorites, -1. Total is set at 3.25. It's a high total, Jord. And it'll be interesting to you because Borussia Monchengladbach have not scored this entire season. Through 4 Bundesliga games, they have failed to score, which is why their old manager was fired. They brought in a new manager this week. He's a young guy who's been part of the squad in the lower divisions with the younger players, and he takes over in the midweek, where we saw Leverkusen in the midweek coming back against Copenhagen on the road, which was a pretty impressive comeback to get a point in the Champions League. They also fired Ten Hag 3 matches into the season, and their new coach as well. So what do you think about this matchup, Jordan? I know it's not on your card, but you got any insight here over in the Bundes?
I really don't, Dev, because Bundes, I really haven't started capping yet. I've only really capped Bayern, Hamburg, and Wolfsburg for some reason. So I haven't really dipped into this yet. But you mentioned it, Gladbach, the Aston Villa of the Bundesliga, just cannot score goals. So what are we doing with this one, Deb? Where are you going?
Well, I'm so glad you brought up Aston Villa, George, because the great comp is another team that has failed to score. And I'm going to do a little comparison here. So in expected goals on the season here, we have why can't I find the thing I wanted? Great podcasting. Okay. In expected goal differential, Borussia Mönchengladbach is 4th in the Bundesliga, only behind Bayern Munich, Eintracht Frankfurt, and Borussia Dortmund. They're on 4th right now expected goal differential. And on the other side, you've got Aston Villa, who are second to last in the Premier League. Borussia has just been unlucky not to score goals. And now they've got the new manager bounce coming in. I think they're due. I'm about to take a team to score a goal who hasn't scored in 3 matches, Jordan. I'm taking both teams to score, yes, parlayed with over 2.5 goals. It comes in at about, don't have the price in front of me here.
Minus 120, I think.
Yeah, minus 120 sounds right. Look, both teams scoring over. You got the new manager bounce. I thought about the +1 for Monchengladbach. Do they get that new manager thing and they come out and they're able to play better here? Maybe they can cover that spread, but why even mess with it? Because a good barometer for them would be to score a goal. That's all. Just 1 goal on the season through 4 matches, even though they're putting up an XG that they're underperforming by 4 goals. So I just think they're due. I think they can get on the score sheet here, and then I'm sure Leverkusen will at home. And Monchengladbach are not very good defensively. So can they get a third? That's what I'm banking on here, George. It's a Bundesliga. Both teams scoring over. Easy play.
Yeah, you're running with vibes, Steph. You're running with vibes, just like Wolves and Leeds. We're running with vibes. You like that new manager bounce. Yeah, let's get on the score sheet, Gladbach. Surely it has to come at some point. But look, Dev, it's one thing to talk about these matches, and it's quite another to put our money where our mouths are and pay the bookie.
Chuck, I'm going to tell you something. You have that fucking 200 in my hands tomorrow. If you ain't got the 200 in my fucking hands tomorrow, I'll break every fucking bone in your body.
Well, Jord, we've got the official plays. Let's throw them up on the board here. I'll read mine out for you. It's Manchester City, +0.5 goal on the Asian handicap, -108. In Chelsea Man U, Marc Cucurella, 1 shot at +130. Roma in the Derby di Capitale over in the Serie. As a pick on the Asian handicap is -118. PSG on the money line, -112. PSG team total over 1.5, -150. Go ahead and ladder that. This thing could get out of hand. Leverkusen, Gladbach, both teams scoring over 2.5 at -125. Only 1 plus money for me, George. You've got a 2-unit or +220 banger as well.
Yeah, Def. I mean, it's funny. That'll be the one that hits, and then I'll lose every other play. That's minus money. But look, I'm going with you, Deb. We got 2 units on Man City on this podcast. Man City +0.5 goal at -108. Then I'm going their crosstown counterparts, Manchester United, on the double chance, parlayed with over 1.5 goals in the match, coming in at -125. In the Merseyside derby, I'm going first half under 1.25 on the Asian handicap at -121. And then I'm back in Moisey, the Ferryman, Everton, +1.25 on the Asian handicap, -118. And then we got Wolves and Leeds. Wolves hosting Leeds United. I'm going both teams to score yes at -106. And finally, that big banger you mentioned, PSG money line, and both teams to score yes at +220.
Nice, Jordan. Love to see it. Thank you, everybody, for listening, watching, wherever you are. Go ahead and throw us a like, a follow, a subscribe. It helps us out a lot. We'd appreciate it. Jump in our Discord. Description is in the description. The link is in the description of this podcast. Jordan, any last words for the people?
You summed it up perfectly there, Deb, but I'd also add, if you're listening on podcasts, leave a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and maybe you guys are like YouTube guys. You just like to watch it on the YouTube. I do that with a lot of my podcasts now, but it also would really help us to support us by just downloading on Spotify, downloading on Apple Podcasts. Even if you don't listen to it, just give us the download and then keep watching on YouTube, whatever. Give us a rating if you want. You know, we're not being bullies about it. Just asking for your help in growing this thing. We like the community we're fostering here. It's been a lot of fun. That's why we do the show. And we hope to make money. So, Dev, let's make some money.
Let's make some money.